Speaking of which, just to be clear, Moses Kuria is going to run for president in 2027 if there's an election?
Well, that's a possibility, yes. That's a possibility. The only seat I cannot vie for is Women Rep of Kiambu. I don't think I qualify for that one. But from MCA to the president, I have every qualification.
In 2027?
Yes, I have every qualification. Decide by that time.
Yeah, and you'll do it?
I'll do it.
And you're ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
More than ready.
Have you
what now? Don't I practice every day?
You do. Have you patched things with Jubilee, with Uhuru Kenyatta?
No, not yet. Not yet. We are talking.
You're patching?
Yeah, and well, it's Uhuru's party. I have a party. I have given them that offer. If they take, fine. If they don't take, I have a party. And life will go on.
Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, Moses Kuria held an interview at Citizen TV of about 1 hour. Actually, it was slightly above 1 hour. This interview, according to me, it was politically calculated. It was held after a series of analysis from William Ruto's team to ensure at least there's a message that is being passed by Moses Kuria to the Mt.Kenya people and Kenya at large. Now, this interview is just a mere interview. Even if you look at the issues that were being talked about there, you could easily tell that this interview, it was done after political calculation. In this particular interview, Moses Kuria exposed so many things. But there's one that caught my attention. That is the aspect of him vying for president come 2027. At his home, for those who saw it, there were portraits of the presidents of the Republic of Kenya. There was that of Jomo Kenyatta, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, Mwai Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and then he placed himself at the 6th. When I observed that keenly, it was a message that was being passed to the rest of the country that Moses Kuria is vying for president. Ladies and gentlemen, Moses Kuria is not just a common man we can always underrate. When it comes to political exposure, he's well exposed. When it comes to political information, he's well informed. When it comes to the issues to do with academic stuffs to do with economy of the country, is well informed. And personally, I tell myself, when we had the reshuffle of the cabinet secretaries, probably if he was reshuffled or maybe sacked from that first cabinet, it was a reason of the reason as to why he was sacked. Actually, according to me, it is because of his arrogance. But when it comes to knowledge and performance, I think he was among the best knowledgeable cabinet secretaries in William Ruto's cabinet. The first one, the one that Gen Z's pushed for its dissolution. Ladies and gentlemen, Moses Kuria was sacked, and I did a video at a certain time and said that he was not sacked by really William Ruto as such. This was a plan that was elsewhere because of his conflict probably with Rigathi Gachagua. Because I feel strongly that there was a chance for him to get back to the cabinet. But probably because of the numbers that were given to Rigathi Gachagua for him to decide who comes back to the cabinet, JB Muturi took center stage. So he could not replace JB Muturi with Moses Kuria because they were not close. It is very clear, and it was even very clear before, that Moses Kuria and Rigathi Gachagua were not doing well together. You remember Moses Kuria even posted about 10 questions actually to Rigathi Gachagua on the newspaper. And that was huge, showing very clearly that there were big differences between him and Rigathi Gachagua. Now, on this particular video, I want to tell you one simple thing. I observed so many things, like one of them being that there are differences between him and Rigathi Gachagua still. But one thing that caught my attention, because the differences we know it, one thing that caught my attention is the fact that Moses Kuria wants to vie for president come 2027, and there is a likelihood that he's going to vie for president. That is going to form the basis of this analysis here. But before I take you through, please, if this is the first time you're watching my videos at Mokwa Times, take a second or two to subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Let me dive into the topic today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Moses Kuria stated that he's going to vie for president. From such kind of a statement, there are key things I was able to learn from there. Number one, Moses Kuria is planning to bring what we call a party conflict within the Mt.Kenya region. The Mt.Kenya people know right now that DCP has taken center stage of the politics of the Mt.Kenya region. This is simply because Rigathi Gachagua has been very aggressive against President William Ruto's regime. And you are congratulating for that, because at least we have an opposition in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this keenly, you can also see that Jubilee is present. And there was a possibility that Jubilee was supposed to wrangle DCP party. Upon its confirmation that it belongs to Uhuru Kenyatta and Jeremiah Kioni, Moses Kuria posted a picture of him and Uhuru Kenyatta on the Jubilee portrait, or maybe poster. A clear indication that Moses Kuria is probably joining Jubilee. And Jubilee being the biggest rival in the Mt.Kenya region to DCP party, Moses Kuria felt like to rival the DCP party, he needs to join the Jubilee party. That is basically what the plan is about. Why is Moses Kuria planning to rival the DCP party? He knows that he might not beat Rigathi Gachagua in the Mt.Kenya region when it comes to politics. Though they are both orator, they both have orator skills, but the fact is that he cannot beat Rigathi Gachagua. And if you watch this clearly, the fact is that the thing they are targeting is the numbers of the members of parliament from the Mt.Kenya region. They know if they allow Rigathi Gachagua to dominate entirely, then there's a likelihood that Rigathi Gachagua will produce more members of parliament and even governors and even senators, MCS from the Mt.Kenya region. And probably those who are intending to come and take over President William Ruto, take over after President William Ruto, like Moses Kuria, they will not get a chance because already the DCP party will be in control. So as we speak today, Moses Kuria saw it from a distance and felt like, no, we cannot allow this thing to happen. So that is the first mission they have, to rival the DCP party. The second thing that I noticed from there, it is that they want to reduce the numbers of opposition. One major thing William Ruto knows is that if the mountain unites against him, take the votes whichever person they want to vote for, then William Ruto is going home. He knows very well that when he was vying last election 2022, most of the country was against him. And that is how actually the Mt.Kenya was proven to be the kingmaker of this country, the kingmaker region of this country. They could be able to make someone a president even if other regions reject him. Ladies and gentlemen, so William Ruto knows that the only way they can reduce numbers, it is by ensuring there's a presidential candidate in the Mt.Kenya region, so that as Gachagua takes some, also Moses Kuria takes some, so eventually you realize that the numbers have gone down significantly. That is the plan. So there's a plan that the government might even clear Rigathi Gachagua to vie for president. But they will bring someone else, that is Moses Kuria, who will be well funded to counter Rigathi Gachagua. These are two orators that will be fighting the Mt.Kenya region. But as I stated it, Rigathi Gachagua will be above. Even if he will be above, we cannot also rule out completely that there is some influence that can be made within the Mt.Kenya region. Because as I said before, Rigathi Gachagua is exposed on the basis that he does not have strong allies. But if he gets them, he will be very strong politically. But I know he will get them. Because he cannot be at Kirinyaga, be at Meru, be in Muranga, be in Nyeri, be in Kiambu at the same time. Politics can be played with money and stuff, and eventually it will be easier. Considering that Rigathi Gachagua is also not so much moneyed like William Ruto is, therefore it is easier for them to actually sail within the mountain using money. So therefore, Moses Kuria has seen that opportunity and he wants to bounce on it. That is the fact. They want to counter Rigathi Gachagua to simply reduce the numbers and eventually determine or maybe reduce the chances of William Ruto getting out of power. Because William Ruto will get out of power simply because of the Mt.Kenya that is going to vote him out immensely. However, there are other factors like the youths, people like the middle class, but the fact remains that, ladies and gentlemen, money and tribe plays a huge role in the Kenyan's decision making. So therefore, you cannot rule out the fact that there are chances up going forward of William Ruto intruding to some parts of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that I noted from there is that William Ruto has probably pointed out the guy to face Rigiji. It is not Kabogo. It is not even Mutahi Kagwe. It is not even the real team ready. It is simply one simple person, Moses Kuria. Why? Because of his orator skills. I don't know what's your take as far as what I noted is concerned, but I feel William Ruto is determined to use Moses Kuria to lower the numbers of Mt.Kenya region that are going to be put in one basket in support of a presidential candidate come 2027, a presidential candidate from the opposition side. I don't know what's your take, but in the comment section, you can always share with me what you think, and I'm ready here to be corrected. And if there's something that I've said right, please let me know in the comment section. And please don't forget to tell me where you're watching my videos from. It is good to know where people are coming from as far as my content coverage is concerned. See you next time.